Welcome to Daily Dave channel. Today, we're diving into a timeless classic that has transformed the lives of millions around the world. Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, first published in 1937. This book isn't just about achieving financial pulse, it's about cultivating a mindset that leads to success in all aspects of life. Hill spent 2 decades interviewing some of the most successful people of his time, including Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and Andrew Carnegie, to distill their secrets into 13 powerful principles, from the power of desire and faith to the importance of specialized knowledge and persistence. Think and Grow Rich offers a blueprint for achieving your dreams and unlocking your full potential. So, whether you're an entrepreneur, a student, or someone simply looking to improve your life, this book has something valuable for you. Join me as we explore the key insights and timeless wisdom that have made Think and Grow Rich a cornerstone of self-improvement literature. Let's embark on this journey to transform our thinking and grow rich, not just in wealth, but in life. Know your own mind. Live your own life. You have a great potential for success. But first, you must know our own mind and live your own life. You will find and enjoy that mighty potential. Become yourself with your inner self, and you can win what you want within a time limit of your own choosing. Certain special techniques help you win the goals of your dearest dreams. And every one of these techniques was easily within your power. Somewhere along the path of life, every successful man finds out how to live his own life as he wishes to live. But the younger you are when you discover this mighty power, the more likely you are to live successfully and happily. Yet, even in later years, many make the great, letting others make them what they are, to make sure that they make their lives to their own liking. The Creator gave man the prerogative of power over his own mind. It must have been the Creator's purpose to encourage me to live his own life, think his own thoughts, find his own goals, and achieve them. Simply by exercising this profound prerogative, you can bring abundance into your life, and with it know the greatest wealth of all, peace of mind, without which there can be no real happiness. You live in a world filled with outside imping upon you. You are influenced by other people's acts and wishes, by law and custom, by your duties and your responsibilities. Everything you do has some effect upon others, as do their actions upon you. And yet you must find out how to live your own life. Use your own mind. Go on toward to grow rich. With piece of mindy dream you wish to make real and solid. Know thyself, say the ancient Greek philosophers. And this remains key advice. Fourth man who would be in all ways wealthy. Without knowing yourself and being yourself, you cannot truly use the one great secret, which gives you power to mold your future and make life carry you the way you want to go. Let us then take off on our trip to Happy Valley. Do not think of me as a backseat driver. Rather, you are at the wheel, and I merely call your attention to a trustworthy roadmap, whereon the main highway is marked beyond question. On your journey to riches and peace of mind, the road grows smoother and straighter as you travel. Never believe you don't have what it takes. Probably you air reading under an electric light. You know that Thomas A. Edison gave the first practical electric light to the world. But did you know that Edison was thrown out of school in the early grades after his teacher decided he had an adult mind and couldn't take schooling? This then was the impact of another person's opinion upon Thomas Edison to let him know with the voice of authority that didn't have what it takes to absorb even a primary education. Where would he have been if he had allowed this directive to take charge of his thinking? Fortunately for him, and fortunately for the world, Edison decided to live his own life. Through early adversity, Edison discovered something he might never have learned through formal schooling. He learned first that he had a mind he could control and direct toward any desired end. Then Helen Heckled used the technical training of other men and successfully direct scientific research, even though he himself never been schooled in any of the sciences. When he took full possession of that adult mind, it produced not only the incandescent lamp, but also one great discovery. By after another, a boy finds a friend and finds himself. I too was nearly doomed be a false label of unworthiness. I was then 9 years old. My mother had died a year before, and I lived with real 6 know your own mind. Live your own life 3 times. To them and to my own father, I was a problem child who never would accomplish anything save, perhaps, what a life of crime can accomplish. I was doing my best to live up to my reputation as the successor of Jesse James. I even had a sex shooter, which I had learned to handle like an expert. Then a certain woman came upon the scene, and she changed my life. That woman was my stepmother. Long before she arrived, I had been thoroughly conditioned by me relatives to hate her. I found this very easy to do. She arrived, and my father brought her to our house, where the relatives Shad gathered to meet her. He introduced her all round. At length he found me, where I stood in a corner, doing my very best to look tough. And here, said my father, is your stepson, Napoleon. Beyond doubt, the meanest boy in Wise County. We don't expect much good from him. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts throwing rocks at you by tomorrow morning. At that moment, I believe my life hung in the balanced dot. It was a wise and wonderful woman who placed her hand under Mr. Burn's chin, bare, and raised my head so that she could look at him 7 squarely in the eyes. She said only a few words, but they lifted him onto an entirely new level. Turning to my father, my stepmother said, "You are wrong about this boy. He is not the meanest boy in Wise County or anywhere else. He is a very alert and intelligent boy, and all Hannity's Isa worthy objective toward which to direct his very good mind." That was the first time in my life that anyone had said anything good about me. I straightened up throughout my chest, and then and there I sensed that that woman who had come to take me mother's place, my relatives Refred Metosh, was one of those rare people who could help others find the best that is in them. That was the end of my six-shooter days. Increasingly finding as I grew older, I discovered my talent for writing. My stepmother helped me master the typewriter. With the aid of the typewriter, I became a writer for newspapers. For Grow Rich. With piece of through that experience, I qualified to interview, put successful men, and thus I came to sit down with Andrew Carnegie. Out of that interview, which ran on through the better part of 3 decent nights, came my commitment to search out the secret of successful achievement, not merely as a matter of words, but as a pattern of definite action in the lives of men who have achieved great wealth. Out of this grew the organization of the Sense of Personal Achievement, which has reverberated the world, bringing prosperity and peace of mind to millions of men and women. Great artists also live their own lives. Poor, they could not be great. One of the great opera stars of all time, Madame Schumann-Heint, as a young girl, went to a music teacher to have her voice tested. He listened a few minutes, then said brusquely, "That's enough. Go back to your sewing machine. You may become a first-class seamstress. A singer, no. Remember, that was the voice of authority speaking." The girl could have been forgiven for deciding then and there that she would never sing again. Yet she had and kept possession of her own mind, she became, all the more determined that she would learn to sing, and to sing well. This she did, and the world became richer. So it has been with many other cases, in which great personal talent might have been lost forever if the possessor of that talent had not felt it, even when the experts said it was not there. Adversity, it's a tonic, not a stumbling block. Every adversity carries the seed of an equal or greater benefit. Very few march straight to success without going through periods of temporary failure and discouragement. Yet, when you are in possession, put of 9 your inner self, there is no such thing as a knockout blow. You may be knocked down, but you can bounce right back. You may deter on rough roads, but you always can find your way back to the paved highway. You may think this applies only to simple matters. Think then of infinitely complex matter of winning. The independence of a colonial territory owned. Not only that, but often your own mind. Live your own life. 5 focusing length. Many scattered influences which make sure you become the country's first president. In 1910, I became the personal counselor of Manuel L. Quezon. I not only counseled him politically, but, perhaps more importantly, I taught him the science of personal achievement. Then was quite new. Senar Quezon was the first president of the Philippine Island Swan. They gained their freedom. In 1910, however, that time was far in the future. The goal of freeing his people possessed Quezon's mind, and he saw himself as the first president of the new nation. I assured him he could realize both ambitions, yet we knew that such great events do not come to pass overnight. There is a well-recognized power in setting up a definite goal. Few, however, realize the power of setting a realistic time limit in which one intends to attain that goal. After having counseled Senar Quezon for several years. I induced him to set a definite time limit for freeing the Philippines and becoming the new nation's leader. I also prepared an affirmation, which he repeated to himself daily. It closed with, "Pay a statement of this nature. I will allow no person's opinion, no influence, to enter me mend, which does not harmonize with my purpose." Both sentiment and the affirmation were of great help to Kaysen in knowing his own mind and keeping his own direction in the face of the enormous difficulties beset him. 20-4 years and 6 months from the day Kaysen began to use the science of personal achievement. He became the first president of the Free Philippine Islands. Coincidence? Coincidence, despite a world war thought intervened. Many other factors that were not foreseeable. I do not think it was a coincidence, for I have seen this principle of personal achievement works for so many people in so many different situations that coincidence must be ruled out. We shall touch up the principle again. Right now, I shall tell you about just one man presently doing business in Chicago, who has used it with notable success. W. Clement Stone was in high school when he discovered his own goals, his own direction in which the powers of his six grow rich. With peace of mind our mind would take him. Soon he was selling insurance at Sucha, at which made more money than his teachers. Today, his fortune is estimated at more than $160 million, and it is increasing rapidly. In 1939, however, he faced disaster. At that time, he was the head of an agency representing a big casualty company, which sold a special accident and health policy. One day, the parent company pulled the string and terminated his contract with 2 weeks. Notice that Mr. Stone did not have large reserves. It was imperative to keep that contract going. He spent 45 minutes in refreshing his contact with his inner self. Then he decided that within those critical 2 weeks he would persuade the casualty company it was against their own best interest to terminate his contract. The company had very cogent reasons for ending the contract. Nevertheless, they did change their minds as he wished them to. And Stone kept on marching toward his fortune. He then decided that by 1956 he would own his own big health and accident insurance company by 1956. Pity. He decided that by 1956 he would have $10 million of his own. He did. I heard recently that Mr. Stone has set up a lifetime goal of $600 million. I do not know his deadline date, but I have no doubt that on or before that date he will have the stated sum, and further that he will use a good part of it, as he always has used his money, to benefit mankind. The concept of $600 million may frighten a man who thinks small, but a man who knows the secrets of personal achievement merely says, "Why not?" A little while ago I made a survey for the purpose of learning were the 10 men who had made the most outstanding application of the science of personal achievement in the United States. W. Clement Stone was third from the top of the list. The other 2 were Andrew Carnegie the sponsor of my 20 years of research, and Thomas Alva Edison, the greatest inventor of L-time dot. I met Mr. Stone for the first time in 1953. LT was then that know your own mind, live your own life, begin to unravel the dramatic story of his rise to fame and fortune. Starting in business for himself with only $100 in cash and a copy of my most popular book, Think and Grow Rich, I was so intrigued by the effective application Ofsted made of my success philosophy that I accepted his offer to help him take the science of personal achievement to his anti-reinsurance personnel. The task covered 10 years, during which I devoted all of my time to help Mr. Stone indoctrinate his entire organization with my success philosophy. It was a tremendous job, but it paid off in terms which proved conclusively that my 20 years of research under the direction of Andrew Carnegie had uncovered a miraculous formula for helping people to get from where they were to where they wished, pay to be in life. When I first began my association with Mr. Stone, many of his top executives frowned upon the alliance as being a waste of time. They had never heard of a success philosophy based upon what 500 outstanding men had learned from a lifetime of experience through the trial and error method, and they were unnaturally suspicious of it. 5 years later, these same executives met with Mr. Stone and myself in a business conference. To my great surprise, Mr. Stone arose and addressed himself to the group. "Gentlemen," said he, "the combined insurance company of America is now performing miracles." Then a long pause, after which he said, "The company was performing no miracles before Napoleon Hill here. When I began my association with Mr. Stone, the annual premium income from policy holders was around $24 million, and Mr. Stone's personal fortune was estimated to be around $3 million. When the association was discontinued by mutual consent 10 years later, the annual premium income of the company was around $84 million, and Mr. Stone's personal fortune was estimated to be more than $160 million. How much did I get from the association? You may wish to ask. The cash I received was negligible in comparison with that which Mr. Stone received. But I was not working for monetary word. I was after something far greater than that which could have been gained by any amount of money. For I had grow rich, this piece of mind proved during those 10 years of association with Mr. Stone, that science of personal achievement could perform miracles. Fortos, who embraced it and made intelligent application of it more important still. I had laid the foundation for the Napoleon Hill Academy, which is now organizing and conducting franchise schools for the teaching of the science of personality throughout the United States, and eventually will look throughout the free world. The far-flung significance these schools may be brought into understandable focus by the fact that the science of personal achievement has turned out to a perfect antidote for communism, something I had not anticipated when I began the organization of the philosophy in 1908. This reminds me that truly man proposes, but God is. It may well be that the science of personal achievement will become a strong factor in neutralizing the cancerous evil known as communism, which now threatens the liberty of all mankind. The science of personal achievement is already under the group of men who are having it translated into Spanish. Fourth purpose of taking it to the people are farly Spanish-speaking countries, starting with our Latin American friends of the South. I plan eventually to have the philosophy translated into all the major languages of the world, so who is wise enough to say what I got from my 10 years of association with W. Clement Stone? More wise enough to understand the hand of fate which brought the two of you together. The dramatic story of Arnold Reed. Arnold Reed is an insurance executive whose life story and its relation to the science of personal achievement parallels that of W. Clement Stone. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our channel, like and share.